It's kind of like a funhouse mirror, you go and look in the mirror and you're like, this is so cool. I look taller, or I look thinner, or look how great I look. But the more you look at it, the more you realize that image is just a distorted version of you, which is kind of exactly how it is in a relationship with a narcissistic personality. I've heard a lot of talk lately about surviving a relationship with a narcissist. So I just wanted to break it down. Hi, my name is Michelle. Welcome to our channel, The Freedom Habit. Today I wanted to talk about surviving a relationship with someone who has narcissistic tendency. And we tend to throw that word around, I think, kind of like when someone breaks up with someone and they're just like, oh, that person's psycho. They're just psycho. But the truth is, really, they're not psycho. And that's the same thing with narcissism. There's a scale from 0 to 40, how they test people for the narcissistic disorder. And most people range about from the high teens to the low 20s. So while everyone can have a narcissistic trait from one level to another, there's not as many narcissists in the world as we think. So I just wanted to talk about that. Years ago, well, actually decades ago, I was in a relationship, and it was the first time I was ever in a relationship with someone with such high narcissistic tendencies. And it was, the difference with these relationships are that they start out with like love bombing. And I was um I was coming out of a divorce, and I had it was about 6 months later. I was a single mom, and so when I met this guy, it was completely different than my marriage. This guy wanted to spend time with me. He wanted to constantly know where I was, what I was doing, and I mistaken that as being interested. And at first I was like really excited, like, wow, he wants to spend time with me. He wants to know what I'm doing. This is awesome. And I wasn't used to that kind of relationship. But it didn't take long before I realized that that really wasn't what he was doing at all. It wasn't about being interested in me and what I was doing and where I was going and what time I would be back. It was really about control. I guess the big thing for me when I realized how bad the relationship was is when I found that I no longer walked with my head up. Um, After so much verbal abuse and, horrible things said to me, about what kind of person I was and how awful I was. And I realized that just walking down the street, I would keep my head down. I no longer held my head up. And as insignificant as that might sound, it was actually a pretty profound moment for me when I realized that and how much I needed to get out of that relationship. So, what do we do after this relationship? When we finally get out, what do we do? Well, first of all, we should examine our beliefs. We should take a look at our limiting beliefs, write them down. What are things that you believe about yourself? What are some things that are holding you back? And actually, really start to question that list. Yeah, so what I recommend is going through that list and really asking yourself, do I feel this way? I mean, am I really, stupid like I've been told for the last year or two? I can't be that dense, and we have to start to recognize the gaslighting and be compassionate with ourselves for even believing in that relationship. I know that was difficult for me. Like, I lost trust after that, and I lost trust in even having a relationship, and then I lost trust in myself for accepting that relationship, thinking that, you know, that it wasn't that bad, that, he loves me because he always wants to spend time with me. He must love me. But the truth is, these people with these narcissistic tendencies, they're really just trying to feed their own ego. And sadly, it's the more control they have over you, the better they feel about themselves. Honestly, I don't understand that. But that's what happens. And unfortunately, we get into these relationships and we can find ourselves stuck. When I met my husband, Boyd, it was about 6 months after I had gotten out of this relationship, with this narcissistic individual. And it was very difficult to open up my heart again and to trust, because I couldn't trust myself anymore, so I wasn't sure that I could trust somebody else. And luckily for me, Boyd recognized that about me, and we talked about it and worked through it, and little by little, I started opening up my heart again. So I just want you to know there is hope after getting out of a relationship like that. And it might take some time to build yourself back up, but just recognize that, it's this happens to so many people. It's very easy to get into a relationship like this. And, don't blame yourself for staying, for being in that relationship longer than you should have. It's sometimes it feels good. It feels good when they're love bombing us, and we want to believe that they love us as much as we believe they do. So yeah, just like I said, make a list of some of the beliefs you have now that have changed, and call yourself out on it. Like, is it true? And make changes, make positive changes. Be compassionate with yourself and realize that, these things happen and you're out of it now. And now you have control over how you see the world and your mindset. I know I mention this a lot, but I cannot impress enough how important it is to have a journal, because you can write down your thoughts and always go back and look at them and see how far you've come, the things that you've changed in your life. Maybe you'll see things that you're still working on, get some ideas on how to continue to change your mindset and become the person that you want to identify as. So I hope I've encouraged you today. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day.